Joining me now is Kellyanne Conway, counselor to the president. Kellyanne, will President Trump continue to advocate for this, be on the road, going out to the American people, talking about it even beyond Twitter? Because, again, what you heard from Republicans was President Trump really did a fantastic job selling this, despite what the polls say.
That's right. And the president has been doing that for a year. This started during the transition after he was elected. And he has been intimately involved with the details and certainly with explaining to the American people what this would do for them. Lo and behold, as soon as it passed, even before the president and the Republican members took to the South Lawn yesterday, you saw American companies responding in kind. They're giving that tax relief directly to their employees immediately this calendar year. So I think you can expect the president to be very active out across the country, but also here from the White House when he addresses the accomplishments this year, and there are many, when he addresses why this tax cut is good for the hardworking men and women and the job creators and the aspiring entrepreneurs across America. But expect the president to talk about his full economic plan. This tax cut package that passed, it does simplify the code. It will repatriate trillions of dollars. It will lower the brackets for folks, double the child care tax credit, give the adult tax credit, and keep so many of those deductions that middle-class Americans rely upon, like mortgage interest deduction, charitable contribution deduction. But it's only the latest, if not the greatest piece of his overall economic agenda. It also includes the regulation rollback. It includes repealing the Obamacare mandate, which was a lie to people that we're going to get that young and healthy into the exchanges. They didn't come and the insurers fled. It opens up responsible energy development in Alaska through ANWR. So the president will continue to talk about the many ways he's improved the economy, and the stock market and America's employers will respond.
Kellyanne, with your expertise in polling, and we've touched on this, and that in the recent Wall Street Journal poll, only 17% of people polled expected to get a tax cut, when in fact, based on every analysis I've read, it's going to be 80% or more of taxpayers in this country. Even with President Trump selling this package and this reform the way that he did, why is it not registering with people more, at least before it gets signed into law?
Dagan, I can hardly fault Americans for believing that yet again the system is going to squeeze them out and exclude them from the benefit here. This is part of how Donald Trump got elected, that people were so sick and tired of politicians making promises, either never delivering or never delivering for them in their pocketbooks and their personal liberty. So who can blame America for thinking that yet again they would not benefit from something? But they will benefit, and as was noted yesterday on the South Lawn, Americans will start to see that benefit immediately. Come February, their paychecks will be fatter. This is the paycheck president. Come April, they know they're facing the IRS yet again, but this time it's with a far more simpler, less complex, less overwrought code that punishes the taxpayer and often makes them feel like they could be breaking the law without even realizing it. And they always think that the code is for the wealthy and the well-connected. This one's for them, but I can't blame them for thinking they're not going to benefit. What is a shame, I mean a real shame, is all the people immediately saying it could never pass and it will only benefit the wealthy. You saw yesterday it's benefiting the employees of AT&T, of Wells Fargo, of Boeing, of so many companies in this country who came forward and said, I'm going to give the tax cut relief immediately this calendar year to my employees.
Well, of course, Kellyanne, the Senex, particularly on the AT&T announcement, $1 billion increase in investment, $1,000 bonuses to 200,000 employees in the United States. But of every cynic on Twitter just blew up and said, oh, well, they're just trying to curry favor with the White House and the Justice Department and get that Time Warner deal done. And I pushed back and said Randall Stephenson, the CEO, was talking about this last spring.
That's right, that he has indeed. And every responsible CEO of a major corporation will see the value of reinvesting at least some of this tax cut into their employees, their workforce.
Have you heard from a lot of CEOs, because a lot of them broke away from the president's Business Advisory Council after the Charlottesville comments, but have you heard privately from a lot of CEOs about how excited they are about this corporate tax reform?
We've heard privately, and we've seen it publicly. Many of them have been out there talking about this, talking about it on TV certainly, but also to their employees about what could happen. And I think so many of them noticed the mainstream media and the Democrats haranguing them and distrusting them and saying, you'll never reinvest in your workforce. You'll just give it to the shareholders. You'll give it to the board of directors. You'll pad your own pockets. And they turn around as soon as it's passed and they do right by their employees. I don't know what these senators are going to do in these states where all these companies have a presence or indeed are headquartered, where those jobs are now secure, where the employees are actually immediately benefiting. If you're a Democratic senator who looked the other way and claimed those workers in your state would never get a benefit and they already have, what are you to say to them this calendar year and next that you stood in the way because of petty partisan political differences? It really makes no sense.